Hello there, fellow groupies. This is Brian King, also known as the Mindset King. I want to thank Wendy for inviting me to come into the group today and discuss how to stay positive on days when your body just feels like garbage, something along those lines. So, what qualifies me to talk about this? Well, I happen to have this conglomerate of anomalies. I have ADHD and dyslexia. I have a blood condition called polycythemia. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I have multiple sclerosis. And if that isn't enough, I have 3 boys with ADHD and different types of autism. So I'm exhausted a lot, in pain a lot, often have a lot of brain fog, some headaches. So my lousy days, if I counted them, might be equal to or outnumber the quote good days. So how do I prevent myself from getting caught up or bogged down by the negativity? Well, I'll tell you, it ain't easy, but it's possible. I actually had one of these days on Saturday, just a couple days ago, where I was in such pain that I considered going to the ER. But like the stubborn male I am, I decided to tough it out and try the various meds that I had on hand, including medical marijuana. And I was able to keep it at bay enough that I didn't feel like going to the ER. But more importantly was, where was my focus during that time? Now, I didn't do as good as I usually do. Usually I am kind of in this very zen place and very flexible, going with the flow type of attitude when I'm having those off days. But Saturday, for some reason, I was a little bit more difficult for me to navigate. But I was able to do it, and I will share some tips with you today on how I do it. I can't in this time give you a comprehensive blueprint, but I can absolutely point you in the right direction with these tips that I'm going to offer you. First and foremost, and I'll add this to my resume, I'm also a 30-year cancer thriver versus survivor, meaning that I continue to thrive post-cancer, but I was 18 when I had it. And when I was declared in remission, one thing that I declared about my mindset was that I was not going to let my mind feel the same way my body did. Because I was dealing with body aches and nausea and God, you name it, sores, a lot of pain when it comes to cancer. But I didn't want to live in that reactive way anymore, where if something happened that was unexpected or something that I didn't like, I would end up responding negatively, defensively, because I took it personally. Well, if you declare that you don't want your mind to feel the same way your body does, it's not negating the whole mind-body connection, because we know that one affects the other. But what it does declare is that I can choose my thoughts. I can choose the meaning that I assign to these experiences. I don't have to make them personal. I don't have to say this is God punishing me. I don't have to say, well, the universe hates me. I don't have to say I have bad luck, or what other language you use in order to make yourself the victim of these circumstances. So that's the first thing you need to let go of, is the belief that for all of eternity, the billions of years the universe has existed, has all boiled down to this moment just to screw you over. When you think about it that way, it's kind of hard to think of yourself as being that important. That the universe, with all its black holes and explosions and supernovas and suns and new galaxies, that it said, wait a minute, we haven't screwed this person over yet today. We better get on that. So that's not the case for you. You can choose your thoughts. You can choose to remember that anything that shows up, any pain, any spasm, any ache, is temporary. Now, temporary, unfortunately, could mean an hour, could mean a week. But once it's over, you do have that lull where there's more peace, there's less pain, and some of us end up dreading, when is the next one coming around? Holy cow, but I don't want to get too comfortable or enjoy this too much, because what if it happens again? Well, if you have a chronic illness like I do, it's going to happen again. But you can create misery by anticipating a less than stellar future, or you can embrace the present that you're in, where there isn't pain, there isn't all the fatigue, and you can be grateful. Gratitude is probably the foremost power you have in tempering any feeling of negativity you have towards whatever experience you're having. Now, I know when your body's racked with pain, finding gratitude is a difficult thing to do. But it's easier when you start tuning into your senses. In my case, when I lay upstairs in my bed, I can hear my kids laughing downstairs, and I can be grateful that they're happy. Or I could feel miserable because I'm missing out. I should be down there with them. I'm not as good a dad because I'm resting instead of playing with them. And trust me, I have those conversations. But when you're racked with pain or fatigue and you can't get out of bed, it doesn't matter what you should be doing. Yeah, maybe you should be more involved. But your present circumstances really don't allow for that. So what do? You be grateful that they can be okay anyway. It's not to say that you don't matter, but it's to be humble enough to realize that you don't have to be everything. It's okay if you step aside. The kids are going to be okay without you being there. That is part of raising them into adulthood, is to teach them how to be okay without your presence. So you have to revisit your attachment, your investment. You have to give yourself permission to be a little distant, for them to be a little more independent, and for you to simply take care of yourself. So listen to the laughter, listen to the birds outside. If my dogs are playing and tussling around in the yard, I smile because they're happy. I think about, and this is really key, I think about the stuff I did on my better days before this spell kicked in, and I tell myself that I began a ripple, like throwing little pebbles in the pond, a ripple that continues to move outwards, even though that moment where I dropped the pebble in is gone. That ripple's done, but it continues to extend beyond there and continues to help people. So even though you're not contributing to your family at the moment, you've done stuff prior to that that stays with them. So you can afford to take that day off, knowing that your momentum carries on. You're still present with them and the impact you made yesterday or the week before. And when you feel better, to a certain degree, you can pick up where you left off. So taking those breaks isn't you neglecting anyone. It's you recharging your battery, letting yourself heal and recover so you can be your best you when you re-engage. Is this helpful so far? I certainly hope so. A couple other things I want to throw in there, and then we'll wrap up for today, is think about this schedule that you're set for yourself. Because I'm self-employed, I coach people with ADHD all over the world, and I have articles I want to write, I have client sessions I want to do, I have things I want to read, and Saturday, I had big plans, day before Easter, but I had big plans for all the catching up I was going to do. None of it happened. Because the night before, my pain spiked, I barely slept. The next morning, I was miserable, pain was even worse. My day was done for. It was going to be a bed day, and that's it. So part of the things that made me fret is because I had a hard time letting go of the plans that I made, that I wanted to get this stuff done. And I was upset that I couldn't get it done because I was in bed. And my wife, who's brilliant, by the way, points out to me, she says, yeah, but that's a self-imposed deadline. It hit me right between the eyes that, man, I was chasing this due date that, I got to get it done today. I got to get it done today. Nobody imposed that deadline on me. I did that to myself. And as soon as she said that, I was like, holy cow, I'm beating myself up for something that I could just as easily change because I said it in the first place. And I wonder if you have this same issue too, that when you set a goal for yourself and it has a deadline to it, that you become so committed, so motivated to accomplish it, that it almost becomes this rigid, non-negotiable objective. And you forget that it was you who decided this. So you can move the post anytime you need to. And when you have down days like I did on Saturday, you have to have that flexibility. And more importantly, you have to eliminate procrastination from your habits. That's a different conversation. But if you stay on top of things, then days like Saturday can happen and you won't fret as much because you're staying on top of things. Last tip, monitor your breathing. The breath for thousands of years has been an instrument of building mental discipline, building the discipline of being in the moment, and a simple way of taking yourself from anxious to calm. Because if you think about it and pay attention to your body, each emotion has a breathing pattern. When you're anxious, you tend to breathe higher and faster, like hyperventilation. When you're angry, you might breathe more like a bull. And if you're not sure what that is, I'm not going to do an impression for you. If you see how bull breathes, you can imagine if you got little kids, when your little kids have breathed that way, like when they're trying to intimidate you. When you're sad, there's a different kind of breathing. And your breathing is enough within your control that you can deliberately sit there and take some deep breaths. Pay attention to them. It'll bring your mind back to the moment. You'll get connected with your body, with your center. A nice deep breath will calm you. So it can take you from anxiety, anger, whatever, to very present calmness. And from that place, you can find more gratitude and positivity. So please give me some feedback on this. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions at all about this, just drop a comment. I'd love to chat with you about this. And thank you again, Wendy, for giving me the honor of speaking to your tribe. And hopefully we'll be talking again. This has been Brian, the Mindset King. You can find me at themindsetking.com and hope to talk to you again soon. Take care.